Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Great to have you with us, and Dave Ritchie will join us in this half hour. Frank Bodani, York Daily Record, final half hour. But first, our play-by-play call of the day, another milestone for Sidney Crosby.
To Kessel, angles a board pass up, a beautiful one, ends up over to Gensel, shoots and scores! Jake Gensel from the right wing circle beats Price, and the Penguins have a 5-3 lead. Now give me back my old Cadillac.
700th career assist for Sidney Crosby. The call by Mike Lang on the Penguins radio network. All right, so is he solo or does he have his compatriot?
The Chief is solo.
I won't feel comfortable till the interview's over. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here as usual, and thanks for having me on.
This high school all-star get-together. How important has this been over the years, just to showcase some of the great talent in the area?
Well, the Northumberland County Recreation Board has a scholarship they give out to every one of the Northumberland County schools at the end of the year. It's a scholarship, small scholarship for an outstanding male and female athlete. And one of the ways to raise money was the All-Star game to get some money. We don't make a lot of money, but what this game does, it gives some of the best players in our area and the surrounding counties a chance to play one more time before their high school career is over. And they also get to play with a lot of players that they were opposing on the court. So we try to get the best seniors from all the schools and get together and just have a good time.
And over the years, this has also been beneficial for everybody across the board. And it's also great. It's one thing to compete against somebody, but then you get to actually know them when you go through even a practice together.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about these games is a lot of times we don't know who's going to show up until the last minute because of the playoff situation, and we always try to have it at the end, the last Sunday in March. So that usually is this Sunday right after the PIAA finals are over in Hershey. So once in a while there's a practice, but a lot of times the kids show up and the coaches put them together real quick and they go out and they do their thing.
They do their thing. All right, talk about what it takes to organize this.
Well, first of all, I'm very thankful to the Shikellamy School District for allowing us to use their gymnasium, their field house. And that's the first thing you have to do is you have to find a place to play. In the years past, we've had it at Lourdes, and they've been very good at hosting the games before. This year we moved it to Shikellamy mainly because being a teacher and a former teacher and a coach there, I was more familiar with that area. So we get that. The next thing is you've got to get the word out to the schools and ask the coaches to nominate or send us. We usually ask for 2 seniors and to play in the game. So that's the 2 big things. We try to get the kids, I shouldn't say we try, we do get them a jersey to wear with a number on and the Northumberland County logo on it. You try to you need people to run a basketball game just like you would any other game. So we get a lot of volunteers to help with the scoreboard, keeping the book. All the officials, we'll have 6 officials there. They are all volunteering. It's like any other basketball game that usually the AD in the school does, but now we have some people on the rec board that get it all together. Communication is the tough part, making sure you get out and talk to all the coaches and all the athletic directors.
Yeah, and then, again, the key is who ends up showing up, because everybody has different things they're doing this time of the year.
Yeah, well, we'd like to have it later, but, we run into all the spring sports, and this works out pretty good because you're still in a situation where the weather's pretty cold, and there aren't too many other sporting events that are being handled at this time. It's I looked at the roster for the boys. The surrounding county roster is that's a good basketball team. I would love to coach them. Andre Roop, the head basketball coach at Mifflinburg, has graciously said he would take on that job, and so that's great. And Gene Bruno, the coach at Milton High School, is going to coach the Northumberland County All-Stars, which also has some very good athletes on it. The one thing that we're going to miss is we're not going to be able to have any of the Lords players because I shouldn't say unfortunately, but fortunately they'll be playing in the state playoff game on Monday, the finals, all right, against Kennedy Catholic.
Yeah, they had to push everything back because of snow, right?
Yes, they did. If they would have played today at 2 o'clock, there might have been a chance we got a couple of seniors from Lords. And Coach Sandry, his team is, they remind me a lot of Syracuse. They play that zone, and people aren't used to playing against a good zone, and the offenses seem to sputter. So they've got some talent on that team, and they would be very welcomed in the All-Star game.
And of course, the facility means a lot. You get a chance to play here in Shikellamy.
I basically really like our field house. It's not the biggest field house, but it has some of the best lighting, and it's easy in and out for people to get into the bleachers. And every time that athletic director Tim Four has had events there, and Shikellamy has had their share of district games and state games this year. They do a great job. There's never seems to be any problems. They've got a very good staff that work there, and many of them are going to be working this game too.
Yeah. What about getting volunteers to help out with this, organizing that, just to make sure the event runs smoothly?
You got to have a lot of friends, Steve.
Yeah, you do.
Well, we do.
You earned them.
We have, like, for example, Ted Anderlevich sings the national anthem before every Shikellamy basketball game. He also helps run the clock. And I asked Ted if he'd sing the national anthem, and he said, sure. And then he said, do you need some help with the clock? And I said, yes. So he and his partner, Robert Balonis, are going to run that clock. People step forward and help you, but sometimes if you just ask, it helps. Mike Elder, who's our trainer at Shikellamy, I went and asked him if he could be there Sunday night, and he will be there. So there's Jim Bell, who's the public address announcer. I talked to him, and he says, yeah, I'd be glad to do it. And Dave McDermott, who keeps the book, he's going to be there too. So actually that help was very easy to come by this time. And the officials, Tommy Aber, who's the head of our rec board, he's also a former official. He also rates the officials. He goes to games and actually rates them. He got 6 guys to come, 3 for the girls and 3 for the boys' game. So you just go to your friends and ask if they can help you out.
Wow. How about getting tickets for this?
Well, you can get tickets at the door. It's basically it's $5 for adults, $2 for students, and if you have a child that's not in school yet, they can get in for free. So the doors will open probably at 5 o'clock for the girls' game at 6. So we're hoping that we get people to come out. It's an enjoyable evening because you get to see most of the best basketball players in the 3-4 county area in one night. Yeah, they haven't played together before, but they're still a lot of fun to watch. A lot of kids, very good outside shooters. We got a couple of nice big kids that play inside. So that we're hoping we get people that love the game to come out and watch these kids one more time, get a good crowd there. And I think the kids have earned it because most of them have put in 4 solid years of playing the sport, and that's our hope. You always get parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters to these games, but we're hoping Shikellamy's pretty centrally located, so we're hoping we can get more people out.
How gratifying is this event for you?
I love basketball. I wish they would have had all-star games when I played. Not to say that I would have made the all-star team, but I watch a lot of basketball during the year, and by doing the Shikellamy games with Kevin, I see a lot of good players. Unfortunately, I get to see them when they play Shikellamy, and I'd like to watch them throughout the year. And there is not the media like there is in college that you can go around and watch the good players. So now I'm going to get a chance to call the game and also to watch some of the best in the area, and it's for a good cause too. The scholarship fund is something that the Northumberland County commissioners have, asked the board to take care of situations like this, and I just feel good about giving something back to a sport that has given so much to me, and that's the way just about everybody on the committee feels too.
Dave, good luck with this. I think it's going to be a great, great event. In the fact that you're involved with it's going to make it even better. Appreciate it very much, and I hope everything goes really, really well.
Well, thank you, Steve. And one more thing, Steve. I have no idea where Kevin's at. I have not talked to him for about 2 weeks. So
since before vacation.
Yeah, since before. We talked a little bit about the promo for the game. And we're actually going to try to talk to some of the kids that are playing in the game and see what their futures are and what their careers are, and I think that's going to be a plus. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous about everything going off, but we'll just see what happens.
It'll be fun. I mean, really, it'll be fun. You've got too many good people around you. They'll allow it to fall into place. Now, as for not knowing where he is, Dave, I mean,
I'm listening.
He has shut himself off from the world. I mean, he's. We're watching now a power-hungry individual, Bill Walls.
Well, I do know he's going to have to call me soon because trout season starts, and I'm usually his fishing partner.
Ride?
So yeah.
Dave,
yes, ride and his partner.
Dave, he went out and bought his own stream. It's unbelievable.
Well, I hope he lets me fish. I
mean, this digital media thing is just like he's soaring. He bought his own stream. Now the Andersons whose property's up against the stream don't know he bought it.
Oh, okay.
but he claims he did.
That's news to me. He didn't tell me yet, Steve. So I guess he's waiting to surprise me.
Yeah, believe me, it'll be a surprise to him, too. All right. Dave, thanks so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Good luck.
Hey, and
good luck with it.
Listen, good luck with the Penn State. I've been watching them. It's fantastic what they're doing. So let's bring home the NIT, okay?
Yep, Mississippi State, that'll be on Tuesday night. It's the 9 o'clock game, and we'll be on at 8:30 with America's longest pregame show.
Yeah, I got you. Good luck with that. Good call.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. Dave Ritchie, the Chief. This All-Star Game is a great annual event. It's going to be at Shikellamy High School. Looking forward to it coming up at the Phil Lockuff Gym. We will come back with more in a moment as we continue. Brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf on News Radio 1070 WKOK. I remember when Dave, and he was one of the nicest people on the face of the earth and proud to call Dave Ritchie a friend. I remember the days when he and the suit were tight. And now I'm starting to realize that
those were the days, my friend. It just seemed to never end.
It's just I see stuff like this. It's disturbing.
Yeah.
I find it's a couple good friends, tight forever. Now it's
5:45 Sunday afternoon will be the airtime of those All-Star games here on WKOK. We'll make sure we get the time in there.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yes.
And the games, first game's at 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave said, I don't know when I'm going to see him again. I said, well, when's the next? And I said, when's the next time he needs something?
Well, like he said, first day of Trout, and then after that it'd be the Purdy tournament. So,
well, the Purdy tournament, I want Dave. I'm the one that asked Dave to go to the Purdy tournament.
We were just talking during the break, and Dave is in, and one call to Craig Fogel, and Craig will be in again.
Dave plays a nice game.
Yep.
Craig plays a really nice game.
So there you go. Sounds like your foursome's locked up for May 2nd. There you go.
No, we need a fourth.
Okay.
It's not funny.
I do have someone in mind.
Oh, good. Craig Stadler? I'm just wondering.
No, I was thinking about Greg Wetzel.
Wetzel will be good. He'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He
would be.
Now, has he ever hit a bridge?
I'll text him. I'll ask him.
I need one playing partner that's hit a bridge before. So,
a qualification of yours that I did not expect.
I guess, let's be honest with you, I guess that's just something that, where the suit's the one qualifier. Too bad we can't have 5, man. Wow. That's we've only played golf a few times. I have so many stories from this dude. Sorry, seriously. So many stories about hitting bridges, almost killing everybody. Setting in Boston, he's got a wicked slice, man. Wicked. Oh my goodness. And he does, man. He does. He's got a wicked slice. Then but then he'll go out and he'll start playing. He'll actually usually by the end of the round, he starts hitting the ball down the middle. I know it sounds like I'm giving him credit here, but I am.
It's like, where were you 3 hours earlier?
Yeah. At this point, you do know we're out of the tournament, right?
Yeah, that was a great time last year. We were just chopping up a whole bunch of topics, and then we got talking about Brockmeyer. By the way, Brockmeyer's coming back next month, new season. Can't wait.
Randy Isles, good friend of mine. Randy Isles is a huge Brockmeyer fan. He'll walk up to you and go, "Hey, Steve, Brockmeyer." Yeah, and of course, I always tell the Hank Azaria story all the time too, about football, about the Super Bowl media day. And he goes up to Michael Robinson. Hank would not be a post player in a basketball team, but he is a brilliant talent. Brilliant talent. And that show is pretty good. It is good. Brockmeyer. Now that's not how it is in real life, okay, people? We don't go into the booth with a flask. We don't do that. Now, there's some people who probably listen to this show that think I have been, but no. Not true.
No, spring water. No, that's Perrier.
Yeah. Jack brings Perrier into the booth. You know that, right?
Yeah, yes.
Right, yeah, he brings in Perrier or Pamplemousse. That's right, Pamplemousse. That's when now we know we're on a real roll. And he says, this is for good luck. We need to do this for luck. I said, okay. Oh, my goodness. We do have fun up there, but it is good, clean fun. We don't take it beyond that. In the old days, believe me, I have heard stories in the old days of the old flask being used in certain broadcast booths. But no. We don't do that. Frank Bodani next half hour. And we'll continue with our series of Where is the Suit? I think we could sell that. No?
Not to be confused with Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Or Where's Waldo? It's not funny. Today's show brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
All right, Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. Big East committee has reached some of the same conclusions the Pac-12 has. They would like to see 2-0 in college basketball. Now, they can't do anything about it because the NBA has to change the rule. And, you know, when you look at what they want to do with 2-0, in other words, if you want to be a high school player that wants to go directly to the NBA, you can enter the NBA draft. But if you elect to go to a college, you have to be there for 2 years. That's what they want to propose as a 2-0. Now, the NBA, again, here's the issue the NBA has from the ownership side. You know, one is the maturity of the league, right? That's one. But they don't want to be scouting high schools. Oh, great. I got to go to Lower Merion High School again to scout a kid. They want to be able to go to the Duke, North Carolina game in one-stop shopping and look at players. You know, they want to be able to go to a USC, UCLA game and look at players. Give them a better idea of what they have, what they don't have, as opposed to going to some high school and going, oh, okay, the other high school may have somebody that's no bigger than 6'4". And you're recruiting this 6'8", 6'9" guy who's just going to crush him. Oh, I got a lot out of that. But they don't want to recruit. They don't want to go out and have to scour high schools for the draft. That's what they don't want to do. Now, they could they could call the high school expert, but nobody can find the suit.
I'm right here. I didn't realize I was that popular.
So Dave left the building, and now you show up.
I was unavailable to be here with David at the same time today. It was unfortunate. I would have liked to have been here. We haven't we haven't hung out since the end of the basketball season. We talked on the phone a lot.
He said he hasn't heard from you in 2 weeks.
That's not true. We've talked on the phone a couple of times. I mean, we're getting listen, the important part is we're getting the fishings planned out. That's the important part. First day of trout is getting planned.
That's because you need a ride to the creek.
As soon as basketball is done here on Sunday, it's fishing time.
How have things been going fishing for sales?
Great. Great. More successful than when I trout fish.
Oh, that's not much. All you got to do is make one sale. You beat your trout fishing number.
Wow. No, well, last year we did have one issue trout fishing where I had the line end up wrapping around the spindle of the reel, and I had a nice rainbow trout on because I could see it when it broke the water, and the line snapped because it got wrapped around the inside of the reel. And about a half hour later, the guy fishing on the other side of the bank from me ends up reeling it in and going, oh, there's more line here. And I'm like, that would probably be the one that I lost. And it was about a 12, 13-inch rainbow trout. It was very discouraging at that moment. But that's my fishing career right there. That is it in one brief story.
So, in other words, a 4-inch pumpkin seed was brought in by you.
That's worse than the one that got away. That's the one that never made it on shore, and then the other guy catches it for you. He actually hooked my line and brought it in. He's there pulling it in like hand over hand. He's like, do you want it? I'm like, no, you caught it. It's yours.
So it'll be the 54th and final time Indy's on ABC.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. Losing the 500, first time since 1965 after this year that the Indy 500 will not be on ABC.
Hopefully we can find it. All right, so...
Actually, NBC is really excited because their numbers have been up. When they cover IndyCar racing, the numbers are actually higher. They've seen, and of course they lost Formula One now to ESPN, so they have plenty of time now to do open wheel racing.
That's a huge loss.
No, there is at least an American team in Formula One now. The drivers weren't the last couple of years, but at least the team was an American team.
Okay. Well, this was fun.
There's your open wheel fix for the week.
For the month.
Maybe the year.
I'm good till Indy. I'm good till Indy.
Probably the year.
I think I'm pretty good until, I don't know, when the NBC contract runs out. All right.
We don't know when. I just heard it was a multi-year deal. I don't know when that's going to be.
I want to say 7. I don't know if that's right or not, though. 7 runs in my head that it was a 7-year deal.
With an option for an 8th?
Yeah, I'm not sure who has the option. That's what happened to me on this show. I had an option for another year, and Steve decided not to take the option.
And then I came in.
Yeah.
I showed up.
He decided not to take the option.
I had nothing to do with it.
No.
Zero. I had zero to do with this.
It's true, but correct. It's much more fun in my story.
Where were you on vacation, by the way?
I actually spent spring break with Daniel.
In Reading?
No, he came home. He came home, and we just kind of hung out and did stuff around the house.
Well, that's cool.
Like his Spanish class? All right. That's...
Sorry, every time during the holidays when Feliz Navidad comes on, I said, can you translate it? No! He said he translates it for you in the song.
All right, let's bring in Frank Bodani, York Daily Record. Frank, how are you?
Yeah, you guys have a lot of fun here, huh?
You might as well. What the heck? You might as well have some fun in the doggone thing. I mean, is life really that serious at times?
No, first day of spring, we're just shoveling out down here.
Yeah, I shoveled 6 inches of spring off my walk this morning. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Frank,
but no snow on Tuesday at Pro Day, so it was a good time, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been. You don't get the best vantage point of everything, but you also get into a lot of conversations. So, Frank, what was it like covering Pro Day, and what stuck out to you about it?
More guys, more media, just more people. Last year was the first one I was to. This was a lot more ramped up. If nothing else, because Saquon was there, even though he didn't really do anything. Drew the biggest crowd, and he still was a story, talking about his life, his new baby coming, so on and so forth. So he kind of stole the show a little bit without working out. I thought some of the guys, though, that didn't go to the Combine, I thought impressed. Or some of the guys who went to the Combine but didn't do certain things there. I think right away Saeed Blacknell really stands out. You almost forget about that guy, but always talented, ran a great 40 time, looked really smooth running pass routes. I think he definitely helped himself. Didn't even go to the Combine, but he had to help himself big time. We could start with there. I think most of the guys helped themselves.
Yeah,
started with him, Deshaun Hamilton with a nice 40 time, so on and so forth.
Yeah, Blacknell ran a 4.39. Which, look, that's going to help him along the way. A guy like Curtis Cothran, it looked like he slimmed down a little bit, and maybe he's trying to get himself into defensive end shape, but my understanding was he helped himself.
Yeah, he ran well. I think he's mentioned, at least to one reporter, that he's going to bulk himself back up, obviously.
Okay.
He was down to about 283, but he ran well. I think his broad jump was good, strength good. Even guys that you don't really maybe completely are sold on having a great chance at a pro career, like Colin Castagna. Some of his numbers were really good. I don't think anybody ever questioned his strength. I mean, Franklin would talk about him, but 30 reps on the bench press stands out. And I think he did well in his other things as well. And I think everybody seems really loose there, and I think Deshaun Hamilton talked about it. It's tough at the combine. I mean, you're there in that arena doing your thing one at a time when everybody's watching you. Here you're around your friends, your buddies, your familiars. I think it was easier for guys.
And it's interesting. This kind of training is also different than football training in a lot of ways. You have to train like you're a track guy to do something like this. I always sense, and I don't know what you if you got this sense on Tuesday, because obviously I was in Milwaukee Tuesday. I wasn't here.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But they always seem to be relieved when that part of the process is over with.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine being a football player and wanting to have your money and your hopes and your dreams basically depending on how you come out of a track stand.
Yeah.
That's not what you're about. So all of a sudden you have to stop what you're about and train for this particular thing and look at it in a way for Barkley. So everybody at the combine, but I think people close to Penn State, and Franklin said it on Monday, his numbers didn't really wow people that know him.
That's right.
Right? So he spent all this time, and I don't know about money, but all this time training for the combine when in some ways it's such a crapshoot. I mean, I don't think he did as well in some of those events as what his own head coach had seen him do earlier at different places.
Yeah, because
it's not football stuff completely.
Right, and that's why when, for example, James, I think, mentioned the other day that Barkley had seen him do 34 at 225. Most I'd ever seen him do was 30. And he did 20.
Yeah, I guess what he did Lift for Life, right?
Yeah, he did 29 of the combine. He's run 4.33 before, so full disappointing. I mean, imagine having a disappointing day personally and having everybody go, wow, you're awesome, because they didn't expect any of that.
Right, it's weird to me. It's almost like people don't know who he is or something. I'm thinking, God, all you do is put in a tape. You've seen what he can do. How does this surprise so many people? That's the whole mess thing I got from it. I guess because we cover him all the time, but it's not like he was under the radar.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a question I don't know the answer to, and I don't know if it was brought up. Did he say what his weight is right now?
He didn't say it when I was there.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, because remember he was 233 at the combine, said he wanted to get down a couple pounds.
I think Jasicki's weight fluctuated. He talked a little bit about that, but I don't remember Barkley doing that. So everybody was too worried about him being a dad. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great story for him. What about the interest in Gesicki along the way? Because now you've got enough people that are saying that he might be tail end first round.
Well, I mean, to me, it's weird in a sense with him. I always look at him as a receiver, really.
Yeah, right.
Penn State talks about losing a tight end. I almost never even looked at him as a tight end at Penn State. Hey, it's all the credit in the world to him. I think he tried his best. He really improved his blocking. Mm-hmm. He was never a good blocking tight end.
Right.
So let him be what he is. He was basically an extra tall receiver at Penn State. He's going to be an extra tall receiver in the NFL. So he is what he is, but what he is pretty decent. Well, Frank, I think that's what he's proven.
And Frank, I think what helps him, I know he didn't play basketball at this level, but he was a two-time Jersey State Player of the Year in basketball. I think the success of guys like Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, Tony Gonzalez, they're all basketball players playing that spot. I think that helps him.
The last 3 years, he played football passes as if they were going up for rebounds and stuff. And
exactly.
That definitely helped him. That enabled when he didn't come down with one of those balls. I think it might have been the Fiesta Bowl, one of those passes in the end zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were almost surprised, right? Because he was getting every one for 2 years.
Right. Exactly.
Anything near him. Yeah. So.
On to the current team. James Franklin at his press conference on Monday. What's your gauge on the current team?
That they're finally to the place where they're getting to where they're just filling in a little bit here, a spot there, a spot here. And he may not have talked like that. He didn't come out and maybe say that, but that's what I get from it, is that they're beyond this whole loading up the depth, hoping people don't get hurt, massive fill-ins. They're the part now where, hey, we lost a couple of guys. We have some young safeties. We just need to find the right guy, not this overhaul anymore from the, we're not loading mounds of dirt into the foundation anymore. And that's really, I think, a great spot to be coming off 2 seasons like they are, because, yeah, they still are looking for a middle linebacker, but most of the places on their team, like their offensive line, it finally has the depth. Even if guys get hurt, you shouldn't worry. They're really at where their upper-tier opponents have been, They're finally there. And it's just picking out a Lamont Wade moving here and, a Cam Brown developing a little more there. They're real close. That's what I get out of it.
And then the next part of this, too, is that you lose to Saquon Barkley, but could you potentially gain more yards in your rushing game this year? Because you still have some talented backs there, but you also have an offensive line that has the potential to have made progress to make that happen. Would that be a fair assessment?
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of us media types would predict Miles Sanders to have as much, maybe more rushing yards than Saquon. Penn State to run the ball more effectively overall than last year. It has nothing to do with Saquon. It's just that their line is better. Teams won't be selling out everything in the world to stop their number one running threat. It's going to be a whole different way, maybe not that they play, but that teams play them. And it might help them in some ways not to have – it won't help them not to have Barkley and that they lose a home run threat. But in some ways, more balance. Things are going to be more flowing through different parts, I think, easier than worrying about how do you get the best guy in the field the ball. And I think sometimes it seemed like to us it became that they had to, and I understand it. Why wouldn't you, right? But they've tried so hard to get the best guy in the field the ball that at times it seemed like maybe it was a little, I don't know, I hate to say dysfunctional, but it just didn't work as smooth sometimes. Then they adjusted, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I understand what you're saying, and here's a part that I think is a little underplayed on Barkley's presence. Barkley, we know he can do what he has his hands on the ball. He became a better blocker, as evidenced by the touchdown that won the Iowa game. He picked up the blitz. We see what he's done as a receiver, but here's an area that is very hard to replace. Saquon Barkley, the decoy. I thought a lot of things opened up just on fakes to him.
Yeah, and they did. And I think Penn State overall adjusted really well in the second half. They just threw the ball.
Yep.
They did what teams gave them, and they looked comfortable doing it. It just comes back, honestly, to the 2 games they lost. If they win those 2 games, we don't talk about any of this probably look the same way. But you're right. I think him as a decoy, so they're going to have to own everything a little bit more. They're going to have to earn it a little more. But I just think that they have, goes back to that depth that they developed and the younger guys that they have coming in to supplement it. I think they'll be able to be okay because their overall offense is going to be better, stronger, more experienced. Not this type of option, but other types of options to help. They're going to make up for it as a whole, not with maybe one guy, but as a whole.
Yeah, Frank,
make up for it.
Right, I agree with that. And Frank, how do you look at the defensive part? And obviously, there's going to be a fascination of many about Micah Parsons.
A lot of pressure on that kid, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because, that's a lot to ask of any true freshman to come in from day one and be your middle linebacker. He's going to have to get help, and he's going to have guys step up around him. So, Cam Brown needs to take the next step, has to. Same for Koa Farmer. They don't have anything else proven, really, behind those guys. Those guys can't falter. Yeah. They got to help Micah, and Ellis Brooks has to be able to play, too. They have to have guys take the next step there because so many of them are just names to us. We don't know really what they can do. And I think they're going to have to – this defense may have to be led by their secondary in a lot of ways. I mean, their secondary, their cornerbacks could be so good. And you're hoping, if you're a Penn State fan, that some of the switches at safety will complement that their back end could be great. And that might have to help the transitions of some of the, finding the new defensive tackles, finding the new middle linebacker. That and the ends. I mean, you got like 6 guys playing defensive end.
Yeah.
Who are a couple of them going to end up being terrors or not? Finally,
right? Because I think the biggest there'll be several elements for Parsons. Say it works out for him, the middle linebacker. Well, one of the biggest elements that will be is that he played a lot of defensive end in high school and so forth. If you go inside, the traffic pattern is so dramatically different inside than outside. I think if he can get used to that, we all know what he is as an athlete, but if he can out quickly, that's, I think, what opens the door for him to being effective in that spot.
Well, let's tell you what. Insiders know that he's more than just all the physical stuff.
That's right.
That
Smart.
He has football instincts, even at his age, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be trying him there now. I mean, they wouldn't even be doing it. But they know that he's more than the crazy athleticism. So I think you're right. If he can handle it, and it's maybe not as much of a stretch that he can, and then just go from there, see how the other guys develop. I mean, he doesn't have to play middle linebacker his whole career. Let's just see how he does at first. And, it's going to be Brent Pry's, I'm sure, up for the challenge. He's excited about trying to make this work in a different way. And everything around them can help Micah. If they're really great off the edge with Sharif Miller and Shane Simmons and those guys, then that will help maybe ease up some of the responsibility. I mean, if offenses are worried about getting killed on the left and the right all the time, it might make it a little easier, I think.
Frank, it is always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. Awesome. Have a great finish to basketball season, okay?
Appreciate it, Frank, very much. All right.
All right. Enjoy. Take care, guys.
When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle with a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you, the other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.
Your station for news, weather, business, and CBS Sports Radio. News Radio 1070 WKOK Sunbury and on WKOK.com.